The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Tuesday edition of Running Points on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you. Hello. As you can plainly see, no damage has been done. Yeah, funny thing about yesterday. Yesterday I went over to see Dr. Generalovich, who is over on Market Street in Boardman. Fantastic place, by the way. Just an absolutely fantastic place. They're associated with Southwoods, which is one of the great hospitals in the Youngstown, Mahoning Valley. Just a fantastic place. Well, Dr. Generalovich and the staff did an unbelievable job. I thought yesterday was going to be the day where, they take what is left of my skin cancer off my nose and off my upper back. And it wasn't. It was a consultation. And look, I mean, we had a nice back and forth, and I asked some questions because obviously when you hear the word cancer, it is something that is normally not a very pleasant conversation. Now, for me, fortunately, thank God, it's skin cancer, and it was what is known as basal, which is kind of appropriate since I'm Italian. I'm just saying. But it was not a melanoma. If I had melanoma, well, then we'd have a different conversation, and I, frankly, would be scared to death, literally scared to death of the prognosis. Because it is a basal, no problems. They anticipate everything to go well, but they wanted to do a consultation, and there's a couple of things that need to be done before the surgery. So anyway, what I thought yesterday was going to be surgery, it didn't happen. It's going to happen on December the 4th. So when you see me on Monday, December the 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, I'm going to look like I've been and gone a few rounds with a couple of really big people. So, December the 4th. So I won't be here on Friday, December the 4th. I'll be getting cut up on my nose and upper back, and I'll be bandaged up and looking all really nice and pretty. Sarcasm there. Not that I look good now, neither here nor there, but that is going to be on December the 4th. So yesterday was more of a consultation, and there you go. All right, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Coming up on the show today, Doug Chapin from the Tribune Chronicle and Vindicator will be joining me at 1 o'clock. Coach Bertolini, the skipper of the YSU baseball team, Dan Bertolini, will be chiming in at 1:20. We will have a nice little conversation how fall ball is going. Man, weather-wise, woof, they couldn't have picked a better time to get out and do all the work that is needed. They haven't used the Watts Center all that much this fall because the weather has been absolutely gorgeous. Yesterday, it would be a typical Monday. Dana Balish would be joining me because I wasn't here yesterday. We'll have Dana Balish from TV 21 on at 2 o'clock. A couple of things, and we're going to take some phone calls. Something that bothered me and has bothered me for quite some time. And again, this is just my opinion. And you can have a different opinion, and that's one of the wonderful things about living in this country is we can all have different opinions, and you can agree to disagree on a couple of opinions, but, by and large, hey, it's an opinion, and that's all that matters. And we can, if you agree, great. If you disagree, hey, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. No big deal. And I want to preface this by saying most Browns fans are pretty cool. Most Browns fans, I feel for the organization. I've always felt for the organization since the team came back because, frankly, the front office and the very revolving door of a front office has been an absolute joke. And this team has been a dumpster fire for the last 20-some-odd years. This year, starting to get it right. Off to a good start, 3-1. And then I start reading, and it's been going on for a little while. People are going to sit back and start bagging on the local media. Well, these people, they don't really treat this team well. Okay. And then apparently Cleveland.com, plain dealer. If you get the plain dealer, it's a good read. Unfortunately, like every newspaper, it's not seen its better days. The newspaper business is not doing very well. Historically, around the country, it's not doing very well. I'd like to think around here it's doing well, but historically around the country, the newspaper business is not doing very well because it's just it's a different world in which we're living in. So everyone who covers the Browns prior to the Sunday game, they got everyone's opinion on the game on Sunday. And every single person thought Dallas would beat Cleveland. So everyone predicted Dallas to get a victory over Cleveland. And obviously we all saw that Cleveland absolutely dominated the Cowboys and then held on to beat the Cowboys in a very entertaining game. And then I start reading knuckleheads on social media just say, well, these people, they should all be fired. Look at all these people. They just doubt our Browns. Would you all just shut the hell up? Please. Let me give a little unsolicited advice for everyone. Understand journalism before you shoot your mouth off. Mary Kay Cabot, Tony Grossi, Terry Pluto, and the very talented people that cover the Cleveland Browns are objective. And I understand people are going to go, wow, these people have been bagging on the Browns for years. There's a reason for that. The organization has sucked for a long time. It has. I mean, no disrespect. The organization has sucked for a long time. I mean, when people are going to sit back and go, wow, you can't say anything positive. Okay. 3-13 is not positive, kids. Neither is 5-11 or any other record below 500. It's not positive. And just because a bunch of journalists all said unanimously that the Browns were going to get beat by the Cowboys, what, you're ready to string them up because of that? Listen, I got news for you. These people are not shill cheerleaders for the organization. That's not what a journalist is. A journalist is objective. That's what these people are. They are objective. Now, listen, I covered the Browns for a couple of years when I worked over at iHeart, and I cringed every time some of these people asked some questions. Okay, I get that part of it. I get it. It's not the greatest, not the greatest questions in the world post-game press conference. I get that. But everyone wants to bag on this coverage because we're too negative. Oh, these people they're too negative when it comes to our Browns. Shut up. Are you getting your first taste of success in the last, 15 years? And now you all think you own something? I got news for you. Who have you beaten? You've beaten a crappy Washington team, a crappy Cincinnati team, and you beat a Dallas team that can't stop anybody. 3-1. Congratulations. You're off to a great start. No question about that. 3-1 is a fantastic start. But spare me the crap that this team is really, really good. You're not. You haven't played anybody. Now, here's some good news for you. you get a chance to essentially shut up everyone that's been saying this. You get the Indianapolis Colts coming into town on Sunday. They're 3-1. You get the Steelers, you go to their place, they're undefeated. And the rest of the schedule, yeah, it's got some pretty decent games. It also has some winnable games. Look, I said at the beginning of the year, 9-7. 8-8, 9-7, and if you're really fortunate, 10-6. And guess what? It's going to be 8-8, 9-7, and if you're really fortunate, 10-6. 3-1 start. I pretty much said at the beginning of the year that the Browns would get off to a good start. And this just in, Dallas has been an overrated franchise for the last, 25 years. They just are. But all this talk about, well, these people, they're not giving us enough really good things. They should be singing the praises. No, they're objective. They're objective. That's the point of journalism, to be objective. It's not their job to be a shill and a cheerleader for the team. You want a shill or a cheerleader? Go talk to someone that's not a journalist. Now, look, there's a big difference when you're covering high school, like here at YSN. There's a big difference. High school is different. High school, yeah, you want to, if you're broadcasting for a team, hey, knock yourself out. Have a good old time. Now, me personally, I don't do that. It's just my choice. I choose not to do that. Look, if it's a local team against a local team, I'm going to have a great time broadcasting a game between two local teams. Now, when we get into the playoffs and you're going to be going up against an out-of-town team, hell yes, I'm going to be rooting for, in my case, Crestview. Hell yeah, I'm going to be rooting for Crestview. Absolutely I am. But and maybe I'm off base, and this, everyone wants the new era of journalism. Yeah, and I hear this talk about, well, the old guard. What old guard? Are you talking about the guys like Tony Grossi's forgotten more about football than 99% of you Browns fans. And you may not like him, but he tells it like it is. Now, again, Mary Kay Cabot, I can do without some of her questions. They're kind of, look, I've gone to my share of post-game press conferences in Cleveland, and yeah, some of those questions are, woof. But they do a nice job. And I understand everyone, you got to stop being so negative. Again, 20-some-odd years of Cleveland Browns football, there really isn't a whole lot of positive things to talk about. This organization's been a dumpster fire for a long, long time. And again, 3-1, congratulations. Have you played anybody yet? No. Have you beaten anyone above 500? No. What's the combined record of those three teams that you've beaten? Let's see. Can we say 3-8-1? No teams above 500 that you've beaten? Okay, 3-1. Great start. When you start beating teams above 500, I'll start buying into your program. I'm being objective. When the Browns start playing and beating teams above 500, you'll get my attention. And there's a lot to like about this team. Oh, please. There's an awful lot to like about this team. But I want to see this team beat someone of substance. Dallas isn't substance. Dallas is garbage. They're the most overrated franchise in the last 20, 25 years. Washington, they're a dumpster fire. Cincinnati, they're up and coming, but they're still struggling. They're going to be in last place this year again in the Central, or I'm sorry, the North. I guess the question that I wanted to ask, and I'm going to let you fans talk about it, because you're the ones that pay the subscription fees to newspapers, or listen to talk radio, or listen to programs like this on the internet, podcasts and whatnot. Would you rather hear a shill cheerleader or an objective person? Look, I'll give a compliment when it's due. And I've said a couple of minutes ago, there's some things I really like about the Browns. But I'm not buying into this until they start beating some teams that are actually good. There's a big difference, and I'll throw my team out there. There is a huge difference between the Browns and the Bills. There's a huge difference. Number one, Buffalo's beaten someone. They beat a previously undefeated Los Angeles Rams team that's, oh, by the way, 3-1. And they've also beaten a 500 team in the Las Vegas Raiders over in the Death Star. That's number one. Number two, the Bills have been into the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. So they're kind of ahead of the schedule with the Browns. They've done the playoff thing 2 times. So there's a big difference between the two organizations. One's 4-0, the other one's 3-1. The team that's 4-0 has beaten some 2 teams that are at or above 500. Cleveland hasn't. Buffalo's been to the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. Cleveland hasn't. There's a big difference between the two. Now, having said that, as a Bills fan, I'm also objective. I thought the defense was garbage for the first half. And then they showed up in the second half and decided to, play some ball. I can be real objective. Oh, you asked Tony. He and I had a running conversation during the Bills game. Oh, I can be really objective when it comes to my team. Trust me. I can be real objective when it comes to the Indians. They sucked in their series against New York. The pitching was garbage. The offense was garbage by and large. Second game, the offense was actually pretty good. I can be real objective about my teams. And again, that's just part of what I think is something that people should appreciate. If you want a shill cheerleader, I don't know what to tell you. But for me, no. Unless it's high school, I don't want anything to do with shill cheerleader. If it's high school, knock yourself out. Have a great time. Absolutely you should. I mean, that's again, that's the purity of the sport. Absolutely. No problems with that. Once you get into college and the pros, now that stuff goes out the window. That's just my opinion. Love to hear yours. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Hey, Mineral Ridge is supposed to put artificial turf into their stadium. Funny thing happened. They're not going to be doing it this week. You see, Mineral Ridge has a home game this week as we start round 1 or week 1 of the postseason. Saturday night, Wellington comes to Mineral Ridge as they take on the Rams. That game will start at 7 o'clock. And let me run through the schedule of teams that are going to be playing this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Harding is going to be hosting Akron North in the D2 playoffs, and Boardman will be hosting Cuyahoga Falls. Austintown Fitch, by the way, has a bye week. Division 3, Howland will travel to Akron Buchtel. Alliance comes to Hubbard. Cheney will be at Akron Coventry. I'm going to call this right now. Cheney beats Akron Coventry. I just got a real strange feeling that Cheney's going to make a run. I do. I really think they're going to make a run. Ravenna is at Niles, and East is at Steubenville. D7, Valley Christian will travel to Lowville, actually Struthers High School, to take on the Lowville Rockets. And then on Saturday night, D4, Woodridge is at Girard, Struthers is at Salem. D5, Liberty is at Warrensville Heights, Conneaut at Cardinal Mooney. The Champion game has already been canceled, so Champion has been eliminated from the playoffs. D6, Columbiana at Western Reserve, Newton Falls at St. Thomas Aquinas. Camel will go to Hillsdale. Oberlin comes to Brookfield. Oberlin is on the far west side of Cleveland, halfway between Cleveland and Vermilion, up on Lake Erie. And Wellington will come to Mineral Ridge. So those are the playoff schedule for week number 1. All right, let's get to the phone lines. 330-886-0813. Thanks for waiting. You're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's going on?
How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, Emmanuel. Yourself?
Well, I was sitting there listening to you, right? And, you know, me and you have a long history too. But the bottom line is this: I totally disagree with everything you said to start the show off with.
Okay.
The reason being, number one, now you're thinking that either you got to be a rah shield, right, or you got to be objective. I say that the Cleveland Browns fans are rah the other way. Now, I'm going to tell you something I've always told you. The Browns fans and the media have a way of taking victory, opening up their mouth, and snatching out a defeat. I called you maybe about a month ago, and for the first time, Ronnie, you told me, I know you're not saying this, Emmanuel, because if you are, I'm going to hang up on you. I told you that I was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I told you, and I even told Munch, right, that I like what the Cleveland Browns were doing. You guys were talking about they don't have a line, they don't have this, and I said, and it's a podcast. I said that you have Odell and you have Landry. You can put those two receivers up against any other two. Now, Odell was hurt last year. People don't understand that.
I get that.
I said Myles Garrett was a beast. I did say that. And I said the things that the front office were doing, I was impressed with it. Now, I also told you that they're not going to the playoffs because they got to play Pittsburgh twice, they got to play Baltimore twice, and usually sometimes Cincinnati to get a win in there. But I told you that they're not going to be going to the playoffs. But I told you I like the direction that they're going. I said that a month and a half ago. Everybody was down in the Browns, right? Okay, they're 3-1. We all agree on that, right? But a win is a win. I don't care who you play against, right? A win's a win. They're setting records. They're doing things they haven't done since like 1959 or 69.
Okay.
You know, and 3-1, having 300 yards rushing. I mean, you know, this is like, and I had said to Chubb, you know, too bad he got hurt. I said Chubb and Hunt was probably the best running back combination. And let me ask you a quick question: Who would you rather have, Chubb and Hunt, or Biner and Mack?
Probably Biner and Mack.
What would you base that on?
Based on the fact that they both had 1,000 yards in a season, and they've actually done things through the years that Chubb and Hunt have not done. Okay,
well, only for the simple reason they haven't been there right long enough. But I don't understand why. I don't understand why the Cleveland Browns fans say, well, we've been doing this, we've been losing. That has nothing. What happened 10 years ago? What happened 10 weeks ago? It has nothing to do with the team you have right now.
No, it actually does. Emmanuel, it does. It does. Stop. It does. Because the culture of losing has been there for a long, long time. And look, I understand you're off to a 3-1 start. The Browns are off to a 3-1 start. Congratulations. They're doing a lot of good things. And you're right. They're doing a lot of good things. My only comment to that is, who have they beaten? They haven't beaten anybody. They've beaten three. They've beaten 3 below 500 teams. Two of the 3 teams have a defense that is non-existent, and all 3 of them they're going to struggle this year. All 3 of these teams will struggle this year, including Dallas. But again, in the NFC East, 8 wins may win that division this year.
So I think 7 will do it. But telling you something that I've been told by a guy that has a nice, unbelievable sports talk show, right? And I think he works for YSN. When I was complaining about, you know, us playing smaller teams like Ursuline and Mooney, you told me, or he told me, that you played a team that's on the schedule. It's not your fault. When New England was beating Buffalo twice a year, beating Miami twice a year, and the Jets twice a year, and New England was 6-0 before the season started, I was told you played the team that's on the schedule. I don't understand why you guys aren't, those guys, because you're a Bills fan, I don't understand why the Cleveland Browns aren't enjoying what they got going right now. Well,
the fans are enjoying it. Emmanuel, the fans are enjoying it tremendously. I'm just saying slow down because you haven't played anybody yet. And you're right. Play the teams that are on your schedule. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Now, there's 12 games left, and I'm going to guarantee you that most of these 12 teams that are left on the schedule are not as bad as Dallas, Washington, and Cincinnati. So, yeah, you're 3-1. Enjoy the 3-1 record. But as I have said, I'm not going to jump on this wagon until they have beaten someone above 500 and looked good in doing so. Then I'll start believing in this team. Because I've seen how this story ends. Let me take everyone back down memory lane for a little bit here. When Mike Pettin came to Cleveland, the Browns were 7-4. They were a 7-4 team until the ownership told Pettin to play Johnny Jackass, and then they lost their last 5 games and then went into the toilet and Pettin lost his job. So I've seen this movie before. I've seen this movie, and I understand you got wonderful trinkets in the closet with OBJ and Landry, and by the way, the former general manager looks like a freaking genius right now with Chubb down 4 to 6 weeks. He got Kareem Hunt for a reason. Thank God nobody traded this guy because you're going to need Kareem Hunt with Hunt down or with Chubb down 4 to 6 weeks. But I've seen this movie before. It's like the Bills. Up until about 3 years ago, I've seen this movie before. I know how this movie comes to an end unless you start playing really good and beating teams above 500. I've seen how this movie ends. So
well,
they have a chance.
If I'm not mistaken, right? The Browns went 10-6 and didn't make the playoffs. The problem with the Browns that I can see right now, it's not the front office. I'm not saying they're the best front office. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're the best team. What I am saying, they are doing things right now which they hadn't done before. But their major problem is they're in the same division with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. And if you're not a good team, I don't care what division you are. If you're not a good team, you're not going to beat Pittsburgh and Baltimore for the first place or the playoff position. It just ain't going to happen.
No, I agree with that. Although I don't agree with the front office. Front office is a disaster, and I will tend to agree that they're finally starting to, at least on the surface, do some things right, and hopefully Haslam doesn't decide to get his itchy fingers where he's going to make another wholesale change. Hopefully, he keeps this staff and keeps this little production of his together for more than a year or two, because Haslam has a way of screwing things up. That's why the Browns are the Browns. He's one of the worst, if not the worst owner in the National Football League, and I would put him right up there with Ted Stepien.
I don't know, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really not impressed with the New York Giants front office. I don't know what the heck is going on there.
Well, they got some problems. They got some problems.
And one more thing before I talk about my Yankees, right? One more thing. I don't think Mayfield is the quarterback going forward. Mayfield is the type of quarterback that will manage the game for you. What did he throw for 190 yards?
He doesn't need to throw for anything. If you got a running attack that runs over 300 yards, you don't need to throw the ball. And look,
I just don't see.
And I'm fine with how Mayfield's playing this year because they're not putting it on his shoulders.
You think he could put a team on his shoulders and win a game?
Oh, hell no. Yeah, absolutely not.
Because it comes down to that. In the playoffs, it comes down to that.
Well, it depends.
Quarterback, go ahead.
It depends. I mean, if you have a really good running attack, you don't necessarily need your quarterback to throw the ball 35, 40 times a game. And again, I think that the Browns, if they can beat the really good teams, and if they're as good as the delusional fan base thinks they are, then they're going to be a lot of fun to watch if they get into the postseason, because they have a really nice 1-2 attack with Chubb and Hunt. Now, at some point, like you said, someone will probably say, hey, we have to stop the run and basically force Baker to throw the ball. It's the same thing with Baltimore. You can beat Baltimore by jumping on them and forcing Baltimore out of their run and forcing their quarterback to throw the ball down the field, because he doesn't do a very good job of throwing the ball down the field. Lamar Jackson does not do a very good job throwing the football down the field. If you jump on Baltimore early, they tend to fall apart. I don't know if that will be the same thing with the Browns, but if Cleveland can continue to have some success, they'd be an interesting team if they got to the postseason because of their really, really impressive running attack.
Okay, well, I'm not jumping on anybody's case or anything like that, but your opinion, I know we're starting a 21-year-old tonight, but who do you think is going to come out of the American League, and who do you think is going to come out of the National League? Then I'll leave you alone.
Well, okay. When I saw the series, and it's in San Diego, and obviously the Yankees they don't care which park they're playing in. They could be playing in Yellowstone Park. They'd still hit home runs. But the problem that I have with the Yankees right now, keep this in mind, there are no off days in this series. You're going to be playing day to day to day to day to day. So unless the Yankees get rid of Tampa in 3, I don't think they win this series. And I'll say this because Garrett Cole pitched last night. If Garrett Cole is going to pitch again, it would be Game 5. Because he would be pitching on 3 days rest. There are no off days. And you won't get an off day because you're not going to get a rainout in San Diego, California. That's simply not going to happen. So there is baseball to be played every single day. I kind of sort of expected the Yankees to win last night because, again, Garrett Cole is money in the postseason. And for whatever reason, the Yankees offense scores a ridiculous amount of runs when he's on the mound. Moving forward, I don't know what to expect tonight. I don't know what to expect tonight from the Yankees. I don't know frankly, I don't know what to expect the rest of the series from the Yankees. Now, obviously, they get a nice 1-0 lead. Tampa Bay is going to have to win 2 games in a row just to not put a lot of pressure on them. And I think the series will go 5. I think Tampa Bay will win because they have the better pitching staff, although they didn't look like one in last night's game. They surely didn't look like the team with a better pitching staff. I think the Oakland and Houston is going to be fascinating to watch, and I don't know. Maybe Houston is on a mission to remind everyone that even though a lot of people think they cheated, they're still a really good baseball team. And I mean, we'll see. I've been underselling Oakland all year long. It wouldn't surprise me if Oakland won the series, even though Houston jumped out to a 1-0 series lead. I think the National League series is going to be just straight bananas, both of them. I think Atlanta and Miami. Don't sleep on the Miami Marlins. And let me throw out a little tidbit for everyone. The Miami Marlins have gone to 2 postseasons, 97 and 2003. They each won the World Series that year. Do you realize that the Miami Marlins have never lost a playoff series in their franchise history?
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
They've never lost a playoff series. I think they can beat Atlanta. I just don't think they'll beat whoever comes out of the Dodgers and the Padres. And I think it's going to be the Dodgers, mainly because San Diego's without their ace. Clevenger may or may not pitch. If he doesn't, that series will be ugly real quick. I think the Dodgers are the best team in the National League. I think the Yankees could be the best team in the American League if they get pitching beyond Garrett Cole. I think they could be the best team in the American League. And like I said before, the ballpark that they're playing in can be pitcher friendly. If you are able to do your job and keep the ball low, that ballpark can be pitcher friendly. It's up to the pitching staff to make sure that they're not pitching to contact, especially if you're Tampa. You don't want to pitch to contact against New York because that you're asking for all kinds of trouble, especially the way they're swinging the bats these days. You have to put the ball in a location where they're just going to beat the ball into the ground. If you are a ground ball pitcher, historically, San Diego and Los Angeles are the 2 places you want to pitch in. So the Tampa Bay's job, and frankly, so is New York's pitching staff, their job is to get as many ground ball outs if you're going to pitch to contact that way. You can also strike guys out by keeping the ball out of the strike zone at 0-2, having guys chase pitches out of the strike zone. I think the Yankees could win this series, but their pitching staff, other than Garrett Cole, has to show up.
Hey, Ronnie, well, what is the history? What's the deal behind Ursula leaving Cleveland? You guys been needing a third baseman for 5 years.
No, Urshela was garbage when he was in Cleveland. He never he had plenty of opportunities to grab the job. And keep this in mind: this was before Jose Ramirez. This was before Jose Ramirez. The plan was Ramirez would be the second baseman, Urshela would be the third baseman. But Gio never showed up. I mean, they gave him plenty of opportunities, and he just crapped on himself. And then he left and went to Toronto, and again, they gave him plenty of opportunities in Toronto, and he crapped on himself. He goes to New York, he puts the pinstripes on, and he looks like the second coming of Greg Nettles at third base. I mean,
I couldn't have said it. I could have said it better, my brother.
I mean, well, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, the play he made last night from the seat of his pants was ridiculous.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
I mean, that was ridiculous.
And he got him too. It was an out. Unbelievable.
And it was the same thing that he did in Cleveland when he robbed Santana of a base hit and started a 5-4-3 inning-ending double play in the bottom of the eighth inning. That was the best defensive play I'd seen all year long from an infielder. And go figure. I mean, Urshela bombed in Cleveland, bombed in Toronto, and he's a friggin' stud in New York. Go figure.
Well, once again, thanks for taking my call. And not only are the boys back in town, the band's back together. You have a nice day, my brother.
Hey, let me ask. I got to ask you. Does Harding get the win on Friday?
Yeah, the team that we played last Friday. We were playing some grown men. You can go to high school for 5 years. They like George Jr. I mean, and they had like 5 players, I believe, that could start for us in Austintown, but they didn't have any depth. They're like a Division 5 team.
Yeah.
And I don't think Akron North will be that good, to be honest with you.
No, they're not. And I'll be honest with you, I think Harding gets 2 wins. I think they get into the quarterfinals.
And you know who's there waiting on us.
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends on whether.
Fitch.
Well, it depends on.
I'm trying to put the kibosh on Fitch. Austintown Fitch. That's who it is. Go ahead.
Again, you got to play the games, but I could see an all local matchup in the quarterfinals. Definitely.
That'd be a good one. Okay, my brother. You have a nice day, man.
See ya. 330-886-0813. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. I like some of our local teams' chances this week. I think Harding wins. I think Boardman wins in D2. I think Hubbard wins. I think Cheney will win. Niles. I think Niles will beat Ravenna. Howland at Akron Buchtel. East at Steubenville. That's going to be tough, especially East down in Steubenville. That's going to be tough. Valley Christian and Lowellville, a couple of local teams. So regardless, we'll have a local team in the Sweet 16 and D7 coming out of either, whether it be Valley Christian or Lowellville. I like Girard against Woodridge. Struthers and Salem, you got an all-local matchup in D4 on Saturday night. Let's see, Liberty against Warrensville Heights. Hey, look, I saw Liberty play this past Friday against Crestview. They struggled. They struggled against Crestview. That's a young team. That is a real young team. Coach Allen, I think Coach Allen's done a real nice job with this club. But like I said, it's a really, really young team. And I think they're probably going to be making a lot more noise in 2021. I think Mooney will absolutely roll Conneaut in D5. Columbiana Western Reserve, that's an all-local matchup. Newton Falls taking on Aquinas. That's going to be a tough matchup for Newton Falls, no doubt. Camel going to Hillsdale, which is out by the Worcester area, if I'm not mistaken. Camel is, like Liberty, they're a young team. And they're going to be heard from a lot more in 2021. But here's the thing. Mickey Sikora has done a real nice job. And this team's, they're scrappy. Again, I saw them struggle against Crestview. After that game against Crestview, they've played some pretty interesting games. Keep an eye on Camel. I don't know if they're good enough to go out to Hillsdale and win that game, but keep an eye on them. Brookfield will be hosting Oberlin. And again, Oberlin is way, way out west of Cleveland. I think Oberlin is between Cleveland and Vermilion up on Lake Erie. LeBray is hosting Cardinal, and Mineral Ridge is hosting Wellington. And those are the games out of D5 on Saturday night. A lot of local teams getting a bye. A ton of local teams getting a bye. By the way, there's some regular season games going on as well. Thursday night, Sebring will travel to Matthews. They'll go to Vienna to take on Matthews. The Wyndham Bombers will be traveling to Waterloo to take on the Vikings. And then on Saturday night, East Palestine is going to travel up to Ashtabula County as they take on Ashtabula St. John. That is an afternoon game. It's going to be a 2 o'clock game on Saturday afternoon. East Palestine traveling to Ashtabula County as they take on Ashtabula St. John. All right, 330-886-0813. And again, the poll question for today, and I'm not talking high school here, not talking high school coverage. High school coverage, completely different from covering college and the pros. The rules don't apply when you're in high school. What kind of a journalist, or what kind of a beat reporter are you a fan of? Are you a fan of the shill cheerleader type of beat reporter, or are you a fan of an objective beat reporter? Because it seems to me there are some people in Cleveland that want cheerleading shills to be the beat reporter for the Browns, which just, I don't even know how, I can't even begin to tell you how moronic that is. Number one rule of thumb, it just for me, and again, my opinion, number one rule of thumb, and I was told this by many, many people when I first started in the business. If you're going to be covering college or the pros, you can't be a shill and you can't be a cheerleader. You got to be objective. And I look at the folks that are covering the Browns, whether it be up in their local media, their newspapers and whatnot, and some of these people I've come to know because, again, I covered the Browns for a couple of years when I was over at iHeart. I don't have a problem with the folks covering the Browns. I think by and large they do a fantastic job. And I know some people are like, oh, these people, they don't give our team any credit. Your team has been a dumpster fire for the last 20 years. All right, you're 3-1. Congratulations. Like I said, wonderful. Job well done. But frankly, you haven't played anybody. And when people say that, you're just a hater. No, that's not being a hater. It's actually stating a fact. You haven't beat anybody. You haven't beat anybody above 500. And again, I'm wanting to believe in this team, but you got to show me a win against a team above 500. Now, the good news is you got the Colts on Sunday. They're above 500. You got the Steelers next Sunday. They're above 500. Get one of these wins, I'll start believing in your product. Until then, 3-1's great, but you haven't beaten anybody yet. All right, 330-886-0813. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. Back in a bit. Stick around.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories.
We'll look at efforts
boy is recovering from a broken
around our valley.
Good afternoon. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
Because you expect
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County Court.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Points on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. Again, no surgery yesterday. I had a consultation. And by the way, again, shout out to Dr. Generalovich and the staff over there. They're a part of Southwoods, and they're over on Market Street near the mall. And, woo, man, that's a nice place. Really nice place. Great staff as well. All right, let's go to Tony. Tony, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. What's going on?
Hi, Ron. Hey, you referenced something about us interacting during the Bills game, and you wanted me to confirm you annoy me during the Bills game sometime?
What? No. I was saying that.
No, you're an honest. I think what the difference is. The problem I have with a lot of people who cover the Browns is not that they're critiquing the Browns, is that they make it about self-aggrandizement. I'm so brilliant that, you know what, these coaches on the Browns are pretty damn smart guys, and that's why they're there. And they're working hard to hone the system and get things right. And, quarterbacking from the stands or coaching from the stands is a real easy thing to do. You're an honest critic. I mean, most of the stuff that comes out, except for Josh Allen critiquing, most of the stuff that comes out of your mouth is
I'm brutally honest when it comes to Josh Allen. He was a train wreck the first 2 years in the National Football League, and he's actually grown up this year.
Well, we can. You know what surprised me? He's won his 4th Player of the Week this year. I think he won 1 this year, maybe 2 this year so far. That means he's had 2 in these horrible, horrible years he's had. And if you do the math on that, how many times should any person in 3 years win Player of the Year? It's maybe once statistically. So he's well ahead of the curve when you consider average.
Okay, look, Tony, I mean, we can argue about this all day long. He was horrible his rookie year. He was better, but still a bit below average last year. This year, you will not get any negativity from me at all. Although he has done a couple of things that scratched, I got to scratch my head, but his interceptions have gone way down to the point where he hasn't thrown one yet this year, knock on wood. His decision making
statistically, if people look at the statistics, they'll see 1, but everybody knows that wasn't actually an interception.
Well, it was, but it wasn't. I mean, at the end of the day, it was. He has thrown an interception. You are correct. His decision-making, for the most part, there are a couple of times where I've scratched my head and yelled at the TV set saying, what the hell are you doing? But for the most part, Josh Allen has done a great job with his decision-making. And again, 3rd year, he's taken an unbelievable step in the right direction. Right now, knock on wood, quarter of the way through the season, and I think that he's done a fantastic job, and I think the team in general has done a fantastic job under the circumstances.
Agree, and it is a team. That's one of the things when you want to compare the Browns and the Bills, and I texted you this, and I don't know what they're going to do this year. I still think maybe I'd be happy with 11 wins, 12 wins would be fantastic. But texted, "This is a great," and I put in parentheses, "team." This is a great team. The one touchdown that should have been to John Brown, the pass. Now, if that would have been Odell Beckham, he'd have thrown a hissy fit and thrown his helmet and huffed her up and down the sidelines that he didn't get a touchdown. John Brown went to the sidelines. Josh Allen, quarterback, snuck the next one in. John Brown was as excited about that as if he would have caught his own touchdown. That's a team. You have Diggs, who's a prima donna. We all know he could be a prima donna. When Tyler Kroft catches a touchdown pass, he's the first one there, just as excited as Tyler Kroft is.
Yeah, well, if this team weren't 4-0, we wouldn't be doing that. I'm just going to throw that out there.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We are 4-0 now.
It's fun when stuff is going right. You can have people on their best behavior, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and watching their P's and Q's. I'm just waiting if and I hope it doesn't happen this year, but if the bottom falls out and they start getting on a losing streak, you will see a different Steph Diggs. I'll just throw that out there.
I think that's everybody's nature. I hope it doesn't fall out that way, but I think that's everybody's nature. So,
well, I mean, especially if you're a narcissist, if you're someone that is a drama queen. You're going to you're not going to be on your best behavior when the team is losing, and hopefully we don't see that this year because I've seen Steph Diggs when he doesn't get things his way and the team isn't any good, and it's not a pretty sight.
If we can talk about that for a few minutes, and I did want to talk about the Browns, but the thing that excites me about this team, really excites me about this team. Not that they're 4-0, but they're 4-0 with a horrible defense right now. And we know that defense won't stay that way. They're 4-0 right now, having played really 3 good teams. Miami's much better than they're getting credit for right now.
They're not. They're not a good team. Miami's
they're
not
a decent team. Watch them. What are they, 1-3 now?
Yeah, they're not a good team.
Watch them. Watch them. They're a better team than watch them. That's my opinion. They're solid. Their coach is solid, and they're building something down there. The Raiders are they were 2-1 when we beat them, right?
Yeah. The Raiders are a nice team, and especially at home, they're a nice team. Look, every defense has struggled this year, and it's interesting. Somebody brought this up, and it makes an awful lot of sense. If you think about it, the off-season conditioning program and all that other stuff, it's geared for the offense. It really is. But when you get into the practices and the preseason, that's when the defense is starting to sharpen their skills. Because when you get into the practice part of it, well, you're not going full bore and going after your teammates 100%. And if you do, okay, all well and good. You're not getting an opportunity to go full bore after anyone else. There's no question that the loss of this preseason has been shifting the balance of control in football to the offense, and it's by a wide margin. But you can expect the defense to start catching up pretty soon, and I think that's when you're going to see all of the elite defenses start playing a whole lot better football because, frankly, there's not one team that has a really great defense right now in the National Football League because it's way too offensive friendly because of the fact that, frankly, the teams on defense didn't have much of a chance to hone their craft because you didn't have a preseason.
Yeah, well, I agree with you, and I think it's even more compounded this year because I think Frazier and McDermott felt they had a strong defense. So I think a lot of the time they had in the preseason was dedicated to their defense running specific seams to help bring the offense up. Solidify the new offense or the expanded offense they were trying to put in this year. And I think the defense lost time. Plus, you had really horrible injuries. The corners were really decimated, and the depth at linebacker is really depleted right now.
Yeah, I hope and pray that Edmonds and Milano can stay on the field because there's no depth at linebacker.
Milano's questionable again now.
Yeah, so, I know.
With the pec issue. And that Klein they picked up from New Orleans, he was really struggling. He cannot cover a tight end.
No, No, it's once you get Milano off the field, this team is a lot different. And if you put Milano and Edmonds off the field, oof, that's not good.
But it's been great to have John. You know, I'm not a Levi Johnson fan, and it was nice to have Norman get an opportunity to get back in there and get his feet wet again. He's a competitor. I like to see that.
Yeah, I just he the last year and a couple of years haven't done a whole lot. I hope that he gets a resurgence of some sort. But I mean, he looked good yesterday
Totally
Sunday against the
defense,
Raiders.
He was playing on a totally different defense in Washington than he was in
I agree with that.
Carolina team, and he's back with the same people he was with in Carolina.
Yeah.
A lot of them, Mario Addison, the coaches. There's a familiar feel to him, and hopefully he'll get a resurgence.
It's Carolina North.
So, what do you think of this game against the Colts this weekend?
It would be the Titans.
The Browns.
Oh, the Browns. They're beatable. Indianapolis is definitely beatable. Whether or not the Browns can get the job done, I'd feel a whole lot more comfortable if Chubb hadn't hurt his knee. And the fact that he's out 4 to 6 weeks, and say what you want about Dorsey, and there were a lot of things that he did wrong, but the one thing that he did right was got Kareem Hunt, and thank God they didn't trade him because you needed the depth. Now that Hunt's hurt, now that Chubb's hurt, Hunt's going to be the guy for the next 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, if Chubb were healthy, I think the Browns would have a much better chance. At the end of the day, offensively, I think they can score a few points on Indianapolis. I don't know if their defense is good enough to stop Indianapolis.
What do you think about the offense and the openness that was brought to the? You can't pull that crap on NFL teams week in and week out. That's good periodically, but I mean that can't be your offense unless you're really loaded with Tyreek Hills and such like Kansas City is. But I just think you played your hand. I don't. Once people have seen that, you're not going to do it again against them.
In terms of what? What do you mean?
Oh, the pitches to the jet sweeps. The quarterback and the receiver the receiver pass.
Yeah, that was scripted for the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys' defense is so awful. They could do anything they wanted to do. I mean, it's just that's an awful team. It is. It's one of the reasons why Cleveland was able to dominate them so much. You're not going to be able to get away with that against a good team.
What's the Colts' strength? What's the Colts' strength?
Well, they get
their offensive line.
Yeah,
their offensive line is
their offensive line is solid, and that's another reason why I don't have a great feeling about Sunday because the Browns need a pass rush in order to protect that weak back seven of theirs. And they're going to need a pass rush, and the problem is the Colts' offensive line is just really, really strong. So it's not a good matchup for Cleveland this week. But, again, if they can use Hunt and use this stellar running attack and behind a stellar offensive line, they might have a shot if they keep Rivers off the field.
How's the Colts defense? I love Darius.
They're tough. They're tough. I mean, it's they're like every defense in the NFL. They're going to give up some points, but they're not bad. They're not great, but they're not bad.
Now, do you see the Titans pass their second consecutive?
Yeah, they're playing Sunday. Yeah, they're going to play.
They're
Sunday.
on Sunday. How do you see this week off affecting them? A chance to recuperate or a lost opportunity?
Honestly, I think if you're going to play Tennessee, play them right now when they haven't practiced in a week and a half. I would play them right now. Now, the problem that I have with this is, all right, you play Tennessee in Nashville. 4 days later, you got the defending Super Bowl champs. So that's kind of a tough turnaround. And I was kind of hoping that Buffalo wouldn't play this game this week, but if you're going to play Tennessee, you better play them now because again, they haven't practiced in quite a while. So
they haven't practiced, but they've had a week and a half to coaching wise to prep for.
I agree with that, but they're rusty, and I expect Buffalo to win on Sunday. It's just the turnaround against the Chiefs because that team is that game is going to tell an awful lot about whether or not this Bills team is championship caliber or not.
Well, these next two games, the Titans really are.
The Titans are. I'm not worried about them. I'm honestly not worried about them. They haven't played in over a week and a half and haven't practiced over a week and a half. If the Bills can't beat Tennessee, then you got problems. And again, if Milano's playing, I really like my chances. If Milano's not playing, okay, this could be competitive, but I think they're 5-0 going into Kansas City, and then we'll see what's going on. Tony, I got to get scatting. I got to get scatting, brother. All right, say it. 330-886-0813. We're going to get a hold of Vindicator and Tribune Chronicles sports editor Doug Chapin. He's coming up in a bit. Stick around. More to come.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Trusted our families to help you with your Medicare needs.
Myers Family Insurance looks forward to helping you now for years to come, so call our family today and remind them how cute we are.
Myers Family Insurance continues to be the area's resource for all your Medicare and retirement needs. Call today, 330-286-3044.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Points on ysnlive.com. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline not open because we are bringing in Tribune Chronicle and Vindicator sports editor Doug Chapin. Doug, how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. All right, so the postseason starts, and already one of our local teams will be out of the playoffs without even playing a game. Champion High School, unfortunately, they still got the problem with the COVID outbreak, so they've already canceled Saturday night's game with Crestwood, and because of that, and again, we learned of this rule when we had Tim Street on Friday. Any game that is canceled because of the COVID outbreak by a team, that team gets eliminated, and the other team moves on. So Crestwood is going to move on since that game was postponed, and it's horrible, and it's a tough blow for a champion team that had a pretty nice year, but unfortunately, this is part of the 2020 landscape in terms of playoffs.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we're being affected. My grandson goes to Champion, and so this week they had been doing a hybrid learning. He was going to school Wednesday and Friday, but now they're going to be home all week this week, and hopefully that's they'll get back to school next week. But yeah, it's one of those things that it can strike anywhere, and they've done their contact tracing and all that, trying to isolate the kids that have been exposed, and so it just got worse, and they had to take action, and it is unfortunate that they won't be able to play. Now, there's still the way that the 2020 season set up. they still have a chance to play some more games, regular season games, up through November. I think it was the 14th. So if it clears up, perhaps they can arrange to get some more games in. But certainly missing out on the playoffs is a tough thing, and all the sports are like that at this point. They're not doing any of their sports. So I saw when we were looking for the sectional golf scores that champion boys, their names were listed and they didn't have any score because they couldn't go. So it's it's going to be with us for a while, and it's just part of life now.
It's unfortunate, and I know some folks are going to really disagree with this, but when you have every single team in the state of Ohio, or at least you invite every single team in the state of Ohio, and you want your tournaments to be done with before basketball season starts, and before December, hey, this is going to happen. This is a rule, and again, under normal circumstances, it wouldn't be this way. But 2020 has been anything but normal, and I guess maybe, hopefully at least, this is going to be a wake-up call for all of the other schools and say, hey, look, especially if you're making a deep playoff run, you got to make really sure that everything is going well in your school system, because a COVID outbreak, even if you're in the state semifinals, a COVID outbreak means you're done, and that's a damn shame, but it's reality in this COVID world.
Yeah, and obviously our focus is sports and the disease effect on that. But if a kid goes to school or to football practice or whatever and picks it up, or in a game against a opponent from another school, picks it up and goes home to grandparents or someone like that, and they get it, and there's a possibility they can die. So it's more serious than how it affects football and other sports, obviously, and we understand that, and certainly the school administrators and coaching staffs, et cetera, understand that too. So it's like you said, it's a really strange year, the way things have gone, but this is more than just about football. It's the things we're doing to try to stop the spread are more than just about sports.
Doug Chapin, the Tribune Chronicle and Vindicator sports editor, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. Doug, as we take a look at the teams that are going to be playing in the first round, and there's plenty of local teams that got byes that will join in when we get to the field of 16, who sticks out in your mind looking at all of the area teams playing in the field of 30, the first round? Who sticks out in your mind as a team that could make a very significant run in the postseason?
Well, if you're talking about a significant run, you'd have to look to see who they play the next week, because a team could win this weekend and then run into somebody, a high seed next week, which is usually the way tournaments are set up. Trying to look. Harding plays this week and should have no trouble with Akron North. Then they have Maple Heights or Firestone. Harding's in a situation where they're going to be the higher seed in both of their first two games, and then they could run into Fitch in the third round, the quarterfinals. So, and either one of those two is going to advance to the semis in the region. So I guess either one of those two. If we're talking about teams that are playing this week, then we could say Harding could make a run. Hubbard has a shot too. If they get healthy, they've got Alliance this week, who isn't having a very good year, and then their next game would be against Geneva, and they're probably evenly matched. And then they get Chardon in the in the regional quarterfinals. So Hubbard's got a chance, but again, they've got to get healthy. And the key to the seeding for a team playing this weekend is, like I said, who they get next week. Like Girard could beat Woodridge this week, and if battle of fairly evenly matched teams. But next week they play the top seed in their region, which is Canal Fulton Northwest. So that that makes it difficult when your next opponent is going to be one of the higher seeds. So I guess to answer your question, I think Mooney has a chance too that they should beat Conneaut, although Conneaut's not a bad team. And then they get Garrettsville Garfield next week. Garfield's good, but Mooney has a reputation, and you don't know how that's going to affect. They played a much stronger, much different brand of opponent than Garrettsville has during the season, so that could be something that helps Mooney down the road in that next round. So I suppose those two are the ones. Although LeBray's been playing very well. I like their chances too. They've got Middlefield Cardinal, who they should beat, and then next week they probably will play Brookfield. So they've got a chance to advance, and then they would get out against the number 2 seed in their region, Wycliffe. So I guess those Harding, Mooney, LeBray would be the three I would pick. That to answer your question, which of the ones playing this weekend has the chance to make a run at least 2 or 3 weeks?
I take a look at Cardinal Mooney, and we'll even take it a step further. Let's say they get past Garrettsville Garfield in the field of 16, then they're staring at Crestview, and the game would be at Crestview on the turf in the quarterfinals, and I think that would be a fascinating matchup. And you're right, Cardinal Mooney has played teams that very few Division V programs have played the caliber of schedule Cardinal Mooney has played. I think South Range and Kirtland are probably the only 2 teams that have played the caliber of schedule that Mooney has played. And frankly, Cardinal Mooney seeded 14, even though they only have 1 win. They could get into the semifinals.
Yeah. I mean that's always a factor in who you've been playing against. Not that the schedules for Garrettsville and Crestview are bad, but it's certainly not the caliber of Mooney. And then there's the reputation factor too. I mean, Mooney has a reputation of has their history of playoff success over the years, and even the years they're down, that plays a role in when they're facing schools that aren't used to that kind of thing or don't have that sort of success themselves. So yeah, I think they've got a shot at it. Even though I expect all the 3 games they're playing, if they end up meeting Conneaut, Garrettsville, and Crestview, it's certainly possible that they could lose any of those 3, but they could also win any of those 3 too. And that's what you need to make a run in a playoff situation when you're sort of middle of the pack. You've got to win a couple of games that you also could have lost based on the matchup.
Cheney is going to be playing at Akron Coventry on Friday night, and I really like this Cowboys team. I understand, 1-4 to 1-5, 2-4, somewhere in that vicinity. I think they're 2-4. Look, I mean, I understand the record is not where it should be, but this is a good Cheney team. It wouldn't surprise me if they get past Coventry, and then the winner of that game plays at New Philadelphia. Again, Cheney is one of those teams, they could pull off that upset.
Yeah, it's possible. I think Coventry is they're just sort of a nondescript program out there, and they don't have any sort of history or anything like that is concerning. So yeah, I think Cheney can win that one, and New Philly. How did they played Canfield? I can't remember that. It was a close.
Yeah, they played Canfield, and I believe it was a touchdown game.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I think Cheney could compete with them. They sort of have a different style of play than what New Philadelphia probably has been seeing, although they did play Big Red, I think. But yeah, there's another possibility of a team that local team that could go further than what the seedings would say they should go.
Doug Chapin, our guest. We have two local teams that are seeded number one. D6 Region 21, Springfield is seeded number one. D7 Region 25, Warren JFK is seeded number one. Do you expect these two teams to win their regions, Doug?
I don't know. I mean, they're seeded number one, so they should. I mean, that's what the other coaches think. So I guess yes would be the answer. But you never know what will happen. You get a key injury, you show up one night not ready to play, depending on who the opponent is. I don't know enough about the Lucas, the 2 seed in Division 7, and Dalton, the 4 seed. We've seen Latonia. I think they both have a good chance. Springfield probably has a better chance than Kennedy. Excuse me. But again, the Kennedy situation is similar to Mooney in that they've played some opponents that are larger schools and/or their programs are more advanced than some of the other Division 7 schools have played, so that will give them a break. And I think they are in a situation where the week off, having the bye, is going to help them coming off that loss to Howland on Saturday.
And Springfield is going to have a local matchup in the field of 16. Whoever wins the Columbiana Western Reserve game will get Springfield. And I know Western Reserve would love to have another shot at the Tigers.
Well, certainly too, but that I would think Columbiana would. I don't know if they played them or not, but yeah, Western Reserve certainly would. But Springfield also is in a situation where, at this point, over the last 2 years, they have pretty much dominated the MVAC Starlet division, and they, even if they go in flat, I think they're in a situation where they know they've got that feeling that they know they can come back and win. So, yeah, I think for Western Reserve, there's some revenge factor and familiarity factor, but I think for Springfield that familiarity will win out because they know they can beat these teams, and the way they're playing, they shouldn't have. They should win their region fairly easily.
Doug Chapin, our guest. Doug, before we let you go, I started out the program by just wondering off the top of my head what fans are wanting out of their beat reporters, and I bring up the Browns, and you go on social media, which is probably a big mistake, but you go on social media and you see all of these people just absolutely destroying those that are covering the Browns because they dared to pick against the Browns in their game against the Dallas Cowboys, and everyone wants to call out all these people that picked against the Browns, and then they piled on and said, well, you guys, you're terrible coverage, blah blah blah. And it seems to me that and it's not just the Browns fans, any team. I think it's more on the lines that people want shills and cheerleaders as beat reporters. And I don't know about you, but I'm just one of these guys. Give me someone, male or female, doesn't matter to me. Give me a journalist who is objective and is not afraid to spout off his or her opinion, no matter how bitter the medicine may be. Give me someone that's objective. I don't want a shill or a cheerleader as a beat reporter. That screams no credibility.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you want them to be critical of the team, coaching staff, the players, whatever, when it should be done, when it warrants it. Regarding the picks, people making those picks don't really, I don't want to say care, but it's not their most important thing in the world. When I used to do them for the Tribune, it took me a minute and a half to go down through there and pick. I didn't do any research. I didn't. Now some people do. I understand that, and you have a little competition among yourselves in the newsroom, but most of those picks are just okay, I got to do the pick, so we just go through it. In fact, that's why I don't do it anymore. We've got enough people to do it, and I don't want to bother with the bother. And the fans out there and teams read way too much more into those picks than are meant. I mean, what we've heard about people putting or picks up on the wall because they're, it's bulletin board material and all that stuff. Well, okay, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. But they're not really serious. It's not a, we're just picking the pick. And I'm sure the ones that picked the Browns, it was the same thing. Most of the fans that were criticizing them probably didn't expect the Browns to beat the Cowboys either. So, I mean, that kind of stuff is just, forget about that. That's no big deal. But you're right. The beat reporters covering a professional sports team or a college team, that's part of their job, is to be critical when it's called for. Now, a news story is a bit different than an opinion piece. And in a news story, you're just going to present the facts, and then you can go to your opinion, your column, and give your opinion. But I don't know what fans want. It's the thing about it is, if you've been in this business long enough, you're not going to please everybody. In fact, you're not going to please most people, no matter what you do, because for everyone who says you should be doing this more, there's 3 other people out there saying you're doing too much of that already. So you can't please everyone. So you just do the best you can, in whether you're covering a team or whether you're putting out a newspaper or whether you're doing a radio show, and you just use your experience and your knowledge and your whatever abilities you have to try to do the best to present the whatever it is, whether it's local sports or the coverage of a team or whatever. So
no truer words were spoken. You are 1,000,000% correct, sir. That's and I chuckle when just the conversations that you guys have. Well, why are you covering this team? How come you're not covering that team? It's you can't win. There are times when you just throw your arms up and say, "Uncle, I can't win."
Oh yeah.
And you just
There's so many factors too that the fans don't know about that go into what you cover and what you do. I mean, you can have one week we'll have 5 guys available to cover the high school football games, and another week we'll have 3 because so and so can't make it or whatever. We're using people who are part-timers and stringers and stuff like that, and that's the way the business is now. We just don't have enough people to cover all the games we would like to cover. Every Friday night I make a list of, here's 8 games that are really great games that we should cover, and we only have 4 people to do it, so we only cover 4 of them. And the other 4 would have to get reports on from the schools, the teams, the statisticians. So I long ago realized that, and I've been doing this long enough that it still bothers me a little bit because you take some things personal, but I understand what's going on and why we can't go to that game or can go to this game, and we just go from there. Do the best we can.
Absolutely, and at the end of the day, it's high school sports, and everyone should be happy. I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again, and I say this as someone who's lived in 8 different states. We cover high school football in this area collectively between YSN, the newspapers, the fellow TV and radio stations. We cover high school football better than anybody or any entity that I have ever seen in the 8 states that I have lived in, and it's frankly not even close.
Yeah. Well, I've only lived in this one, so I don't have the ability to say that, but I know we do a good job collectively, like you said, and it's really covered well.
Oof, thoroughly. Yeah. No question about that. Hey, always a pleasure, sir. We will catch up next week.
All right, take care.
You got it. Doug Chapin, the Tribune Chronicle and Vindicator sports editor. Stick around. We will hear from the manager, the head cheese, the guy in charge, Dan Bertolini, the manager of the YSU baseball program. He is up next. Stick around. More to come.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air,
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online,
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
on social media, and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Klim from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com. As we go to the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, we bring in the manager of the Youngstown State University baseball program, Dan Bertolini. Skip, how are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. Beautiful day to be on the baseball field.
Amen to that. You got an interesting date coming up very shortly with the baseball team, and they're going to be playing in front of some significant scouts and folks that could potentially change their lives. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're fortunate to have our scout day tomorrow. It's like a pro day, so our guys will showcase our players. We'll do the typical pro day stuff where you run the 60 and showcase your skills. We'll do some defensive evaluations, and then we're going to have about a 5 or 6 inning inter squad where our pitchers will throw live against the hitters, and we'll have it'll really showcase a lot of our draft eligible guys that are either going to be 21 before the draft begins or are already in their third year of school.
Yeah, and again, for those that don't understand this, once you have committed to a Division I school, you are not draft eligible until your third year. Until you've completed your third year. So you could be a redshirt sophomore or you can be a junior. If you have 3 years in, you are draft eligible.
Right, correct. Or if you're 21 before the draft starts. So for some of the older guys that are, maybe started their freshman year at 19 and they turn 21 as a sophomore in the summer, they are considered draft eligible as well.
And the landscape for the draft is going to be a whole lot different now that the Major League Baseball is going to go about cutting out 40 teams across the landscape, and everyone will now have a low A, high A, double A, and triple A minor league club. The short A and the rookie leagues are gone, and that's just when you have your kids in rookie league camp. I guess you can say rookie league is still going to be there, but short A is going to be gone, and you go from rookie ball all the way to short A ball. And with that, the MLB draft is going to be cut significantly as well. So, obviously there's going to be kids that won't be drafted, but that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that teams aren't going to be interested in doing their due diligence post-draft to take a look at some of these guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now we have a couple guys that are definitely high on the draft board. I think Colin Clark's got a chance. He's a COVID junior. He's got a chance to be probably a top 10 rounder, as well as Colin Floyd, two significant arms in our rotation. I mean, we have a really, honestly, we have a large group of guys. Tom Bucko, Jeff Whaler, Blaze Glenn. There's a lot of guys, Nick Caruso, that have a chance to play at the next level this next year. Now, the landscape has changed. The rounds are going to change. It used to be 40 rounds. Now there's going to be probably closer to 30 rounds. No short season A is definitely because the draft got pushed back to July 11th, so it's going to change the draft eligible or it's going to change the landscape. But there is I saw the Frontier League, which is a independent league just joined with Major League Baseball. So there's going to be some independent leagues that are now kind of basically like a short season A type deal. So hopefully we'll see what happens with that. But I know last year if you don't get drafted and you sign a free agent contract, the highest amount of money you can make as a free agent is $20,000. So it definitely makes a significant difference when they used to be able to kind of sign you for whatever they wanted to after the draft was over. So it's going to be interesting, really, really interesting to see what happens. This is going to be a loaded draft, lots of really good talent because of last year's draft was only having 5 rounds. So it's going to be competitive to get into those markets and find your way into professional baseball.
Yeah, and any time that you can play in front of a scout, and the pro day is a wonderful thing, but anytime a scout can see a player play a game where they get a different look. And there's a big difference between practice game and the real thing. There's a big difference between the two, and every once in a while we'll have scouts that are going to be in the stands, especially when you get closer to the draft. It's a fascinating thing to look at that because it seems like everyone they know when the scouts are there, and the everything gets amped up an awful lot when there are scouts there.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, we've had lots of scouts this year at practices. So whether it's their bullpen session, whether it's an inner squad, we've had scouts at every one of our inner squads. So they're used to it by now, and we've played in some great environments in front of great teams. This is a veteran team that's been in front of plenty of scouts. So shouldn't be. I mean, the juices will be flowing. They'll be ready to go. It's exciting. Probably get a little tick in velocity because of if you're amped up. But hopefully, we've prepared for this for a long time, and it's nothing but another day of getting out and competing against your teammates, and kind of, there's a lot of competitive fire in our practices, so it shouldn't be any different when the scouts are here.
And again, I go back to my minor league baseball days as a broadcaster, and toward the tail end of my stay in Jackson, Tennessee, the Diamond Jacks had just gotten rid of the Cubs had gotten rid of the Diamond Jacks. They had been a Cubs affiliate through 2006. We become a Mariners affiliate 2007 and 2008, and that's where I saw former YSU Penguin left-hander Justin Thomas. And Justin Thomas was pitching for the AA team in Jackson. And, again, he and I hit it off immediately because, I looked at him and said, well, you played for Youngstown State. I mean, I grew up in the area, so and he made it to the major leagues, albeit a brief time in the major leagues. But it's not like Youngstown State has not had their share of success when it comes to players signing a deal and doing significantly well, not just in the minor leagues, but a few of them have gone into the major leagues.
Yeah, absolutely. It's especially the parity that's happened now with college baseball and how so many teams there's good players everywhere, all over the country. It's not even a question that a lot of these guys that are playing on our current team can have an opportunity to play professionally and have a chance to play in the major leagues. I mean, a lot has to go your way to make it there. Even some of the top prospects, the number one draft, first round draft picks, find themselves out of baseball at one point or another. I think, this prepares you. I think Youngstown State, we can prepare you to play professional baseball. We play at a professional baseball stadium. we play off campus, so there's some driving involved, so it really does prepare you on what minor league baseball life is all about. And, that's really a selling point for us. We've had, especially pitchers, sign professional contracts to go pitch in the major leagues, like Justin Thomas, I'm blanking. He pitched for the Rangers.
Hennessy.
Phil Klein.
Well,
Phil
Klein, Hennessy is another one.
Brad Hennessy was a first-round draft pick.
Yep. Dave Dravecki. Dave Dravecki.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yep. But those three guys were in the last 15 years, and they played in the major leagues. So there's definitely a great opportunity here to get your chance to play and at a high level, and go ahead and get your chance to play professional baseball and hopefully play in the major leagues.
Well, the other thing that I think is something that needs to be said is, when you are on your long road trip prior to the weather getting warmer, I mean, that screams getting used to going about your business in minor league baseball. Now, here's the difference. I mean, when we go down to Mississippi State or go to the Air Force Academy this spring out in Colorado Springs, you'll be flying. You go into the minor leagues, you ain't going to be flying anywhere. You're going to be riding a bus, and when you go 12 hours on a bus, that's not the greatest feeling in the world. I'll just leave it at that.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, we're definitely prepared. Our guys are prepared for that kind of lifestyle. Not that we don't have great amenities at Youngstown State, but it's not. It's very similar to what you're going to be dealing with in the minor leagues. And there's a lot of these big Power 5 programs have nicer facilities, way nicer than any of the minor leagues that they're ever going to play in, and they go from getting pampered every day to having a chance to having to go play in Iowa somewhere. It's a culture shock for a lot of those guys. So I think we're prepared. Our guys are prepared for that. Hopefully that'll help them advance through the ranks of the minor leagues and go play in the big leagues.
Okay, you're going to be doing your fall practice through the end of the month, and you're about halfway through the process. Give me some names that guys that have stuck out in your mind as having a really, really good fall season, Skip.
Well, I think Colin, our pitching staff has really been exceptional this fall. I mean, we had a good staff last year, but I've seen the growth, the depth in our staff has been a really great sign for us moving forward. Colin Floyd and Colin Clark have been two guys that have been outstanding. Travis Perry has made a huge jump from a year ago. He looks really good, and John Snyder. Those four guys have really stood out as being exceptional. I mean, you expect Gary Cliff and Joel Hake and Dalton and Chad, those guys that have been around our program for a long time. They've had very consistent good falls. Offensively, I would say, Trey Law has been really impressive this fall. He was a guy that didn't play a whole lot for us last year, redshirted, but has been playing middle infield and doing a really good job offensively, as well as he's a plus defender. So he's making some headway. Getting some definite looks in playing time. But I think Lucas Nassani's had a really nice fall. Pat O'Shaughnessy, really, it's been pleasantly surprised on how well our guys have competed. And, we talked about the really long off season, the lack of gameplay and the lack of practice from March till now. I'm really happy with where our guys are at, but we still got to get better every day. There's been some lulls and some things that we need to clean up, and I think we're doing a good job of challenging these guys and making sure that they're prepared for when it matters.
For the first time in quite some time, there's enough talent on this team where you could potentially redshirt some really talented kids this year, Skip.
Yeah, we've had some really young arms that have done a great job. Nick Perez is a freshman from New York. He's had an outstanding fall. Will Schaefer's been another guy. He's a freshman from Laurel, right across the border. Has had an awesome fall. But we're so old on the mound. Matt Broski's back. He was a guy that redshirted last year. He's back and healthy. Marco DeFalco is back and 100% healthy, and that's a big help. Kenny Missick from Fitch, he had to sit out last year with an arm injury. He's healthy and back. So our our pitching staff is going to be exceptionally deep. So it's going to be a challenge to get those innings. And so this is the first time we've had a luxury of potentially redshirting maybe some of those guys and giving them an opportunity to continue to grow and get better and, help our program for a long time, moving forward.
Well, pitching is the name of the game, and if you have a ton of it, that means that we're going to have a lot of fun broadcasting games this spring.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as much as I think we're old offensively, but I think this pitching staff is really special. I think it's going to be a group that's going to really surprise some people. We had a good year last year, but I really think it's going to be definitely a notch up going into this season.
All right. Well, make sure that we've cleaned all of the broadcast booth, and I've made sure that my jinx factor is gone. So next year when we go on a road trip, and I don't know which road trip you guys are going to want me on, but whatever road trip I'm going to be on, I will promise that we're not going to be in the situation that we were in Charleston.
All right, well, that sounds good, because I know DJ and Steve are going to be fighting tooth and nail to get on every trip we can get on. So it's going to be competition. There's going to be people coming out of the woodwork wanting to get on these trips, because it's going to be a pretty special, I think it's going to be a really special year. And we look forward to having you with us. I know it's not your fault, even though I bust your chops about it. I know it's not your fault. And I know you're going to broadcast some great games, and look forward to having a great season.
Listen, Pletcher still blames me that the Astro Falcons didn't win. And he's like, Jesus, there's that Potesta character broadcasting my games. Sorry about your luck, bro.
Well, hey, Ron, I don't mean to cut you short, but we got to get ahead to practice.
All right, get to practice, my friend.
All right, sounds good.
All
Have
right,
a good one.
see ya. There he is, the manager of the YSU baseball program, Dan Bertolini. That's going to be a lot of fun. You've got the scouting day for the program, and it's this just in, and I tell people I tell kids this, and I've told minor leaguers this. It's when you have someone looking at you, that's an opportunity. Even if you're not eligible, it's an opportunity for you to give these scouts something to remember you by. So when you're eligible, they're going to look back into their notes and say, "Oh yeah, this guy really did a nice job when I saw him play, albeit in a scrimmage." And look, if you really impress as scouts, they'll follow you, and word will get around. There's a lot of things that I can tell you about the intricacies of the game. This one is, just take this one to the bank. Scouts talk. And they talk for the good and the bad. They talk. That's why I try to tell as many kids trying to get into professional baseball as possible, behave yourself when you're playing again. And even forget about minor league scouts for a second. Even if you're being looked at by a potential college, behave yourself when you're playing on high school. You don't want to slam your helmet down if at the bang bang call and the umpire calls you out at first base and you slam your helmet down. No, man, let me tell you what. That's the fastest way for any coach, whether it be D1, D2, D3, junior college, whatever. That is the fastest way for a coach to do this. Here's the book on you, and they walk out. And your chances of going to that school, gone. And here's a little spoiler alert. Coaches talk too. They talk too. That's why I've said, even if you don't believe anyone's watching you, somebody's watching you. Somebody's watching you. And the same can be said when you're on the air. Same can be said when you're on the air. I'll do a brief story and then we'll take a timeout. I was in Vero Beach, Florida in 2002. First year doing organized ball was with the Dodger organization in the Florida State League. And I'm calling the game and, I'm just having a good time. Look, I'm not planning on going anywhere. As soon as the 2002 season is over, I'm staying in Florida. I'm going to be doing some sales in the off season. I'm enjoying the hell out of Vero Beach, Florida. I mean, it's on the ocean. having a great time, enjoying life, and enjoying the fact that come wintertime, I'm going to be in 75, 80-degree weather, albeit every day in the wintertime except for a few days and a week or two where it gets a little chilly and the highs in the low 60s, and it's disgusting. But by and large, you're talking 70s and 80s through the whole winter. So I'm a happy camper. And I have no reason whatsoever to leave. I'm not sending any stuff to anybody. I'm staying in Vero Beach for at least one more year, and then maybe I'll venture out. I mean, that was my thought process. And then I get a phone call. I get a phone call from the West End Diamond Jacks. Hey, we heard your work, and we want you to come up and broadcast games for us. Where the hell did you hear my work? I didn't send anything out. Oh, the owner of the team, he lives in he has a home, a winter home in Vero Beach, and he was down there and was listening to you call a game, and he really liked you. That's basically how it is. That in a nutshell is baseball. That in a nutshell is baseball. Look, you can think to yourself, well, this at bat doesn't mean anything. I'm going to take that at bat off. Oh, well, okay. Are you 100% sure that there isn't someone in the stands that's watching you that could potentially change your life? Are you willing to take that chance? If you act the fool on the baseball field, are you really wanting to do that, knowing that there's a chance that there could be a college coach or a scout looking at you acting the fool and them just being completely turned off? I'm just saying, it's stuff like that. It happens, and it happens a lot more than what you think. It happens a whole lot more than what you think. So when I see, not just in baseball, although it's probably the only sport where you have scouts, and it's a game in which kids can be drafted out of high school as well as out of college, where in football it's mainly 3 years out of college. Basketball, it's 1 year out of college. Baseball and hockey, a lot different. You could be drafted out of high school and go into the minor leagues. Don't think for a second. If you're playing a game on the high school level, on the college level, and you're good enough to where you get people looking at you, don't even think for a second that you're not going to be looked at. Don't think for a second that you're not going to be looked at, because especially in today's world where you can basically put a highlight package together and send it to someone. Trust me, if you're good, you're going to get looked at. And that's where I tell people, if you're playing high school, if you're playing college, doesn't matter. If you're on the field, watch your P's and Q's and play your butt off. Because you don't know who is going to be watching you. And the same can be said if you're in this business. Do your game. Make sure you're doing your game really well. Make sure you're prepared, because I got news for you. You never know who is listening to you. You never know. I got a job in AA ball because the owner of the AA team heard me and loved what I had to do. I don't know which game he heard. I have no idea. All I know is when I came to Jackson, Tennessee, and I got introduced to Mr. Lozenak, he looked at me and he said, I am a big fan of yours. I spent a week in Vero Beach and I listened to a couple of your games, and I knew that we wanted to hire you. Okay. It happens. It happens. It just does. Anything in life. I mean, if you're an athlete, if you're in this business, no. You don't take any time off. You don't take plays off. You don't mail stuff in. That you just don't do that. Not if you want to get ahead in this business. All right, 330-886-0813. Take a time out. Be back with more. Stick around. Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions, reminding you that it is open enrollment for Medicare.
Now through December 7th, those who qualify can visit our local independent agency by calling us at 330-953-3722 or visiting us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Attention all football fans. If you can't see your team play, come and dine with us and watch it live at Boardman, Canfield, or Cortland. Or staying at home, we'll deliver right to your door. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
2020 will be a season like we've never seen before, but 21 Sports and YSN will be there for every key moment. The plays, the players, and the stories that will headline this season. Delivered by 21 Sports and YSN.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plan still meets your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
You may find yourself in some difficulty this winter. Don't get whacked by high heating bills. Call Michael at MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Michael is a trusted friend who will be able to help you with many things, like getting a 95% high-efficiency furnace this winter from Rude. Michael relies on Rude, so should you. Call MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate, 330-259-0486, and take care of your heating and air situation.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Coming up at the top of the hour, we will hear from 21 Sports Director Dana Balish. Lots of teams going to be in action tonight or Friday and Saturday nights. And then, of course, we have a ton of teams that are going to be on a bye. A lot of teams locally that are going to be on a bye. Let's see. Harding is on a bye. No, actually, Harding's not on a bye. I beg your pardon. Austintown Fitch in Division 2, they are on a bye. Canfield in Division 3, they got a bye. Poland, West Branch, and Ursuline all got byes in D4. South Range, Garrettsville, Garfield, and Crestview got byes in D5. Springfield and United got a bye in D6. Kennedy, Leetonia, and I believe McDonald, Southern, and Jackson Milton all got byes. So there are some teams that will not be playing in week 1 of the high school football playoffs. And again, the playoffs are going to be as follows. D2 and D3 and D7 will be playing on Friday nights. D2, D3, and D7. D4, D5, and D6 will be playing on Saturday nights. D4, D5, and D6 will be playing on Saturday night. Some local matchups, all local matchups. This could be fun. We have a D4 all local matchup. Struthers will be at Salem, taking on the Quakers on Saturday night. That should be a good game. D6 all local matchup on Saturday night. Columbiana will go to Berlin Center as they take on Western Reserve. Friday night, D7, Valley Christian and Lowellville will be playing their game from Struthers High School. So that will be on Friday nights. And again, no word as to whether or not Governor DeWine is going to expand the availability of tickets. No word yet from that announcement. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen, by the way. Just doesn't look like it's going to happen. Some news regarding a former Cleveland Indian, Mike Clevenger, is going to be, he's been activated, and he is going to start Game 1 of their best-of-5 series against the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League Division Series. San Diego taking on L.A., arguably the two best teams in the National League, playing each other because the Padres finished second to the Dodgers. But Clevenger is going to be he's going to be active, and he is pitching in Game 1 of this series with the Dodgers. So best of luck to Sunshine and the San Diego Padres. They're going to need it. Man, this Dodgers team is good. Oof. All right, 330-886-0813. A couple of things, and I want to open the phone lines up as soon as we get Dana on. I definitely want to open the phone lines up and ask you, the fans, this question. And we asked this to Doug Chapin. Give me a team that does not have a bye. A team that does not have a bye, a team that will be playing on Friday or Saturday night, a local team in the YSN family of stars. Give me a local team that you believe is going to make a substantial run in the playoffs. And there's a more than a handful of good candidates. I'm going to tell you what, there's a significant handful of candidates here. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me to see two or three of these teams make a significant run where they get to the quarterfinals. And that's a significant run. If you get to the Sweet 16, the teams that did not have a bye, they're going to wind up being on the road. They're going to be on the road in the field of 16. So in order to get to the quarterfinals, you're going to have to win this weekend and then go on the road and win next weekend in the round of 16 to get to the round of 8. So a significant run. Yeah, if you get to the quarterfinals, a team that's playing this weekend, you get to the quarterfinals, yeah, you've made a significant run. A really, really deep run, get to the semifinals. And there's a couple of teams that have a shot. We'll talk a little bit about that and take some phone calls. But coming up next, we will hear from 21 Sports Director Dana Balish. He is coming up next after this timeout. It's a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at bairdbrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
Armstrong Local Programming has always delivered an exclusive and unique perspective on the very best events your region offers. High school sports, community events, parades, all your favorite shows from Armstrong are now calling the Neighborhood Channel their home.
Watch Out and About, Locally Speaking, and many other great local shows right here on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Find out everything that the Neighborhood Channel has to offer at ArmstrongNeighborhood.com. Spirit, town pride, local communities. Welcome to the neighborhood.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories.
We'll look at efforts
boy
to
is recovering from a broken.
Around our valley.
Community in Niles. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
Because you expect.
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
More local news.
In Mercer County Court.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com. It is a little after 2 o'clock, and it's time to bring in TV 21 Sports Director Dana Balish. Dana, how are you today, sir?
Doing well, Ron. Yourself?
I cannot complain. All right, here we are into the first week of the playoffs, and it was an interesting conversation that I had with Tim Street on Friday from the OHSAA, and he dropped the bombshell that any team that has a COVID outbreak and ultimately brings in the cancellation of a game, that team would be eliminated from the postseason. And unfortunately, Champion, they haven't even played a game because of their COVID outbreak, and they haven't gotten it under control yet. The Champion game against Crestwood has been postponed. Crestwood has automatically moved into the Sweet 16.
Well, going into this, Ron, everybody knew that that was a possibility, and hopefully as this tournament progresses, we won't see that come at more crucial times, like in the state semifinals or in a state championship game. When that bracket is drawn up and that happens and the school district has to make a decision, and Superintendent Grabowski and Athletic Director Tim Crope obviously, made that decision, and it was not a hard decision to make. I mean, when you have those positive cases, you have to make the right decision, and they certainly did that.
Now, I'm curious, as we go further along into the playoffs, and let's be honest, the OHSAA playoffs, they're not getting shut down unless there is a significant outbreak across the state of Ohio. This isn't getting shut down because, well, let's face it, there's a lot of Benjamins to be made. But I'll be curious as we go deeper and deeper into the postseason, how many schools could very well be affected with, if they have an outbreak, how many of these schools will be affected and ultimately forced to give up their playoff appearance?
Well, and again, I think, Ron, everyone knows the rules, so I think, it's not going to be a tough decision. I mean, administrators have to look out for the safety and the welfare of their student athletes, not only in the building, not only in sports, but out of sports and everybody. So, like I said, this was not you feel bad for the kids in Champion going back to them, but, everyone kind of knew this decision was coming, and certainly if it happens to another district, it's not going to be a tough decision. It will be a decision that affects, kids and whatever, but everyone knows, everyone's playing with the same deck of cards in this. You know what you have to do, what you have to do to be safe, and, strange things happen. And like I said, I just wouldn't want this to come down to a state semifinal game or a regional final game, so to speak, and say, okay, this team's moving into the state semifinals because, this team has a positive case. Certainly schools have to make that decision, but that's when it would be a little bit tough, to handle for some schools when you're that close.
Dana, we had a conversation, as we always do. You're the host of it. We do the preseason conversation, and this year we talked about how many teams have a legitimate chance to get themselves into a state championship game. And well, the teams that we expected to be there are there. Springfield is the number 1 seed in D6 Region 21. Warren JFK, the number 1 seed in D7 Region 25. And a couple of teams that have showed up that are they're having a really good year. Austintown Fitch, D2 Region 5 is the number 2 seed. Canfield, D3 Region 9 is the 3 seed. South Range is the 2 seed in D5 Region 17. Dana, how many teams do you logistically expect to compete for a regional championship? And of those teams, do you see anyone that could very well be lifting hardware at the end of the football season?
Well, again, Ron, this is like going to a pumpkin patch and picking out the right jack-o'-lantern. I think sometimes what you have to do is you have to be realistic, and you have to look at who's in the region and who's in the bracket, not only in the local region, but who's obviously who's in the region, who's in that division. Let's start with Division 2, Region 5. Okay, Austintown Fitch is the number 2 seed. Well deserved. I picked them to go 2-4. This is a team that has surpassed a lot of expectations from a lot of people. Look, I picked them to go 2-4. If you're a realist and you look at it, the ball has bounced their way, and that's part of winning football. They're 3 plays away from being 3-3. To be honest with you, they're 6-0. But if you look in that region, Hoban's sitting there, and Hoban is a 4-time state champion. They won it 4 years in a row. They were bounced by Massillon last year. Massillon is back up into Division 1. So, does Austintown Fitch have a realistic chance of going to the regional finals? Absolutely they do. But you look at Hoban, they've been there and done that. Not to say Fitch can't beat them, but you got to be a realist about that, okay? So does Fitch go to the state semifinals? They would be going up against a Hoban team that you would expect to get there, who has the experience. So they would be the underdogs in that game. In Division 3, Canfield and Chardon, I think Canfield has a legitimate shot to get to the regional finals. They're playing a Chardon team they would play a Chardon team if they got there, who was undefeated. But you also have to keep in mind, in that lower end of the bracket where Canfield is, there's Akron St. V, who's been a nemesis for Canfield over the years. Akron St. V, only played 5 games this year. They were supposed to play Warren Harding, and they got banged up a little bit. But you look at their competition of who they played. They played, Hoban, where they got drilled, but everybody else, they played is below 500. So, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Division 4, Ron. It's in Division 4. It's a loaded local region, and that's probably the most wide open region. I think Poland, West Branch, have legitimate shots to knocking off, the top seed Northwestern, and it won't be an easy road for Northwestern. You look at the quality of opponents that they played, so I think that's the most wide open. In Division 5, you talk Kirtland. South Range has run into a buzzsaw with Kirtland over the years, so you look at past history. Division 6, I think Springfield has a legitimate shot to go to the Final Four. I think, they're the cream of the region right now. They got Mogador in there. Who's always a threat. But Springfield beat Mogador last year pretty handily. And I think Warren JFK, now they've stumbled the past couple of weeks, but you look at that region, again, can they get out of the region? Sure. So in response to your question, I think we have two legitimate shots, which what I consider two teams that, if things go well, should be playing in the state semifinals. That would be JFK, and that would be Springfield. And then I think, you have Canfield, you have wide open Division 4, and you got South Range and Fitch, who probably should get to the regional finals. But, if the teams that you think will be there, it will be a tough road for them.
Dan Abalish, our guest in the 2 o'clock hour, courtesy of the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Okay, a lot of teams, local teams, are going to be playing Friday and Saturday. Give me a team that is playing in the first round that you expect will get at least to the quarterfinals.
Well, Ron, you look at it, and let me put it to you this way. A team that I think is going on the road that can win is Cheney. I think Cheney going to Akron Coventry can beat Coventry. And Cheney's full of talent. They just haven't played that full game yet. They haven't put that game together. You thought they played that way against Austin Town Fitch. I think Cheney could be a sleeper, in Division 3. Just because of the type of talent they have and the quality of opponents they played. So that would be my sleeper team, in Division 3. In the Saturday games, which would be Divisions 4, 5, and 6, Springfield's not a sleeper, obviously, but, could a Brookfield get past an Oberlin and maybe maybe win a second game? You just don't know. It's so hard because I just don't know much about these teams, and you try to look at it and things like that. But I think, I think we could have, 7 or 8 teams, advance to the Elite Eight, so to speak, in the respective brackets. But it's watered down a little bit this year because teams have first round byes, and in the past, you've always had some mild upsets, in round 1.
Well, one team that I'm keeping a look at is Cardinal Mooney, and yeah, they went 1-5. Obviously, Mooney struggled this year, but they play a much tougher schedule than all of the teams in Region 17. With all due respect to the teams, maybe Kirtland and South Range can say they've played as good a schedule, but Cardinal Mooney has a winnable game against Conneaut in week 1. If they win that game, they go to Garrettsville Garfield. Who knows? I mean, maybe they pull off the upset. If they do, then assuming Crestview gets their victory over the winner of Buckeye and Southeast, then Mooney would play Crestview in the quarterfinals in Crestview. And again, the scheduling, Mooney's had a much tougher schedule than Crestview. I mean, it's even though Mooney is 1-5 and they have not looked all that great, put him in Division 5, they could be a factor in this.
Well, and again, they just have to put it all together. I know Coach Carl Pelini, was waiting for that to happen. I mean, their only victory came against East, where they beat them 7-0. They've been competitive. They haven't put together that full 4 quarters. And again, Ron, I obviously think Mooney will beat Conneaut. Going to Garrettsville, Garfield is a pretty good team. I would have, when's the last time you thought, Mooney and Garfield would be playing? I mean, that just doesn't sound right.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
But again, with all due respect, Garfield's a good quality team. Cardinal Mooney is I would expect them to beat Conneaut. Again, you look at the level of competition. I mean, Mooney's played your Hardings and your Boardmans and your Cheneys, and Conneaut's schedule just doesn't amount to that. But again, that's why you play the game. I mean, Rocco Dobrin is the coach up at Conneaut, a former player at Poland, so he's very well aware of the tradition at Cardinal Mooney, and I'm sure he's instilling into his players, look, everyone's against us. Go out there, have fun, and who knows what can happen. And Ron, those types of games are dangerous. And for Cardinal Mooney, and I'm sure Carl Pelini's saying, look, he's telling his coaching staff, yeah, we've played a better schedule. We probably have better talent, but we can't let our kids know that. We have to prepare like we're playing, Harding or Fitch or Boardman as we are for Conneaut, because you don't want to get stung, because it is one and done now.
It's an interesting first round in Division 7, and to show everyone just how wide and spacious Region 25 is, Buckeye Central is going to be making a 125-mile trip to Wellsville to take on the Wellsville Tigers. And should they knock off Wellsville, the next Friday they will make a 150-mile trip further up the northern region of Ohio to take on Leetonia. It's amazing to me how this region is just so spread out to where Lisbon is going to be taking a trip to Plymouth, which is well over 100 miles. Buckeye Central is taking a well over 100-mile trip to Wellsville. I find it hard to believe that this region can be so spread out.
Well, and again, what the state tries to do, Ron, is put the same number of teams in each region, and you're right, but that you have to draw the line somewhere. And unfortunately, in this region, the lines were drawn, pretty, they're pretty big, because there just isn't enough teams. What the state tried to do is the state tried to get, between 20 and 25 teams equal. So, in Division 7, Region 25, I think there was 21 teams. In 26, I'm not sure. They tried to equal it out, 23 teams. So you just try to equal it out, and unfortunately, sometimes you have long trips. But again, those players aren't going to mind. It's going to be okay. We're going to play the game. We're going to go and see what happens.
Well, I can tell you this: Leetonia is tickled pink to get the 3 seed and just keep Marco Ferry healthy, and hopefully this team makes a really, really deep run into the postseason.
Well, and again, I think it's one game at a time. Coach Julia. Again, I predicted Leetonia to go 2-4. They've proven me wrong. They've stubbed their toe a couple of times. Last week they stubbed their toe, I should say. But again, Julia's been there in '99. He took Poland to the state championship. So he's been there and done that. He knows when you get into these crucial situations. He knows how to handle it. He knows the game day preparations, especially for a playoff team. And certainly that's a plus for him. When you've been there and done it, it makes it easier the second or third or fourth time. So, again, my question is how are teams who have a bye, how are they going to react when they have to play games next week? And that's going to be different, and that's going to be the norm now, because, when the playoffs expand to 12 teams, you're going to have 4 teams in each region with a bye next year who won't have the opportunity to play a game. And Ron, I don't know of any team that has a bye that is actually playing a game this week.
I know there's joint practices, but nobody's taking part in the game. And look, if you've got a banged up team, you want this bye. You want to get healthy and get this team rolling at 100%. But if you don't have any injuries and you're steamrolling everyone, the last thing you want is a bye.
Well, can you imagine the games you could have had this week with teams in a bye? Fitch, Canfield, South Range, Springfield, just to name a couple.
Oh, no question. This would have been an unbelievable week for the 4 teams that don't have a bye to play each other. Oh my God, this would have been phenomenal. Hey, you brought up an interesting statistic, and how surprised are you? Paul Julia coached Poland to a state championship in 1999. That is the last year that a public school has won a state championship in high school football. How surprised are you that it's been 20-plus years since we have seen a public school from this area win a state championship?
Well, I just think, and let's go back, though, Ron. Let's go back 10 years from there, okay? In 94, West Branch won a state title. In 94, Wellsville played for a state title. So you've had teams, that play for state titles. I mean, I guess it's one of those stats that, will never go away when you have 4 private schools, so to speak, in our area, and really that 2 have dominated when it comes to football state championships. I mean, it's just the way things happen. I mean, is there an explanation for it? Sure. I think everybody knows what that explanation is, but, it is what it is. Kids want to, and coaches want to win titles or championships or whatever with their own kids. Springfield was, in the title game last year. In 16, South Range, went to the state semifinals. It's tough. I mean, it's just difficult, and it's one of those things that will linger until some team, a public school team, wins the title. And can it happen this year? I mean, based on what I see, there's one team that I think will get to the title game. Based on if the brackets go as we expect them to, or as they should, and there's some bumps in the road. But I think Springfield could get back there, and obviously I think JFK can get there.
Dana Balish, our guest. Dana, before we let you go, everyone should know you're a big Browns fan. The Browns knock off the Dallas Cowboys. Are you with your brethren up in Cleveland, all the members of the media that picked against Cleveland? I know I thought the Cowboys would beat the Browns by a touchdown. Did you expect the Browns to win this game? And they're off to a 3-1 start. Are you, for lack of a better phrase, drinking the Kool-Aid?
Well, here's one thing, Ron. I was at a gas station Sunday morning fueling up, and someone got out of their truck with a brown shirt on, and he says, "What do you think today?" And I says, "You know what? I have a really good feeling about today. I think the Browns will be competitive. I really like them today." Were my exact words. It was about 10:30 in the morning, and they've proven the fact. Look, you know what? You're 3-1. You're playing a very good Colts team right now. Just don't rest on your laurels. Am I drinking the same Kool-Aid? No, I'm probably drinking Gatorade, Ron, to be honest with you. Again, I'm a realist, and I've been there and done that. And you get so high and you get so low. And same thing with the Indians. I mean, everyone said, okay, they're playing the Yankees, at home. They'll sweep them and bang. Well, look what happened. So you got to take it a week at a time. You can't worry about it. I thought it was the best 3 quarters they've played probably since the Baltimore game last year. When they handled Baltimore in Baltimore last year, I thought the play calling was excellent. I think there's some questions about their defense. And surprising, Ron, the special teams hasn't been to what I thought they would be. And I'm not talking the kick coverage or I'm talking, they're letting the opponents get some returns on punts. And that sort of thing. The block, extra point, that was an offside call anyway. But I think special teams has been the big question kind of out of everything right now. I mean, when you give up 38, is there some questions about your defense? Yeah. Myles Garrett has played well again. And look, Ron, here's the Kool-Aid I'm not drinking. Myles Garrett had 3 strip sacks, in the last 3 games, okay? And that's all well and fine. But to be honest with you, Myles Garrett, should be getting a couple of more sacks a game. I mean, he had that first strip sack in the first quarter, and then you really never heard from him again until the fourth quarter. And I know teams make adjustments like that, but, am I happy they're 3-1? Sure. And you know what? You look to Indianapolis this week and say, okay, you're going to have 6,000 more people in the stands. You're going to be up to 12,000, so maybe it will be somewhat of a home field advantage. Phillip Rivers is always tough on the Browns, and it's a 4:25 game, which makes things a little bit interesting. So, am I drinking the same Kool-Aid? No, but it's you go down to Big D and you beat Dallas. The only bad thing about it, Ron, is I just wish I would have heard from Jerry Jones.
Well, yeah, Jerry Jones, he ain't a happy camper right now. See, he's pissed off, and his team's just not very good. And Mike McCarthy is probably a bad choice on my part.
Well, and again, I think Stefanski outcoached Mike McCarthy.
Absolutely, he did. Yeah, there's no two ways about that.
And again, I think he's calling the plays at the right time. They're just doing stuff that look. When they were up 41-14, did you think the game was over? Yeah, I did. And then all of a sudden, Dallas, and there's concern there a little bit. And I know you're kind of in a prevent defense and all that stuff or whatever, but I just think, look, they're 3-1. They've bounced back. They've won 3 in a row, and you get set for the next one. Don't talk about how good you are. Don't talk about how bad you are. Just keep things status quo.
If they can get a victory against Indianapolis or Pittsburgh, that would be a first victory against a team above 500. Okay, now I'm going to start buying into the agenda. They're 3-1, absolutely, good, no question, and they're off to a great start. But Dallas stinks, Cincinnati's not that good, and Washington's a train wreck. So give me. You got to look at, and you're right. You got to look at the competition, and Ron, it's the same thing in high school. When you ask me which teams can get there, that's what you kind of look at. This team is not very good, and you're right. Now it gets a little bit tougher because now you have Indianapolis, you have the Steelers, and then you're at the Bengals, and the Bengals are going to be a different team when you play them down there in Cincinnati. It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. But I love the 3-1 start. Hopefully they can keep it up. It would be a nice story for sure. Dana, always a pleasure.
I just wish they played the Bills this year.
Well, so do I. Trust me.
After they beat them last year.
Well, yes, they did. And Josh Allen looked horrible in that game, and he hasn't looked horrible at all. Knock on wood, right now. He hasn't looked horrible at all this year. So.
Thanks, Ronald.
I appreciate it, sir. Look, I'll admit, Browns beat the Bills last year. I was there. I saw it. I was covering the game. Josh Allen had a terrible game. That was brutal. Just a brutal game for Allen. But, it is what it is. We're going to take a timeout. On the other side, we will open up the phone lines, 330-886-0813. It is a Tuesday edition of Running Points on ysnlive.com.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
Armstrong Local Programming has always delivered an exclusive and unique perspective on the very best events your region offers. High school sports, community events, parades, all your favorite shows from Armstrong are now calling the Neighborhood Channel their home.
Watch Out and About, Locally Speaking, and many other great local shows right here on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Find out everything that the Neighborhood Channel has to offer at ArmstrongNeighborhood.com. Spirit, town pride, local communities. Welcome to the neighborhood.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
telling more local stories
We'll look at
Baby boy is recovering from a broken.
around our
Good
valley.
afternoon. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
Because you expect
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County
Before
Court.
they become life threatening.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Ron Potesta with you. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. A couple of things we've been talking about. I really think we got a handful of teams that could make a substantial run in the state playoffs. Teams that are playing this weekend. Teams that don't have a bye. Of the teams that do not have a bye, I think Cheney is a team that could very easily beat Coventry on Friday night. Now, unfortunately for the Cowboys, whoever wins this game gets New Philadelphia, the number 4 seed. Now, Canfield played New Philadelphia. They beat New Philadelphia by a touchdown. If memory serves me correctly, that was a 2-touchdown game until late in the fourth quarter. That is not out of the realm of possibility for Cheney to go down to New Philadelphia, born and raised, and beat the Quakers. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Now, having said that, Cheney's also going to be playing in Akron this week, so they would be road warriors if they were to win those 2 games. But it wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me in the least if Cheney were to get it done. I look at Division 2, Region 5. Harding has a very winnable game against Akron North. And then if they happen to win that game, they would play the winner of Akron Firestone and Maple Heights. All right, Maple Heights is the 10 seed. Akron Firestone is the 23 seed. Look, I think Harding can go to the Elite Eight, and waiting in their way, Austintown Fitch. If Fitch takes care of business, that'll be a quarterfinal matchup and an all-local matchup, which would mean we're guaranteed to have one team into the regional semifinals. It wouldn't surprise me if we have Fitch and Harding in the regional quarterfinals. Boardman is taking on Cuyahoga Falls. I think Boardman can beat Cuyahoga Falls. Now, unfortunately for the Spartans, they get Riverside in the second round if they get past Cuyahoga Falls. Now, the game would be up in Paynesville. Again, if Boardman is playing their game, I think the Spartans can play with anyone. If Boardman is playing their game. It wouldn't surprise me if the Spartans got to the quarterfinals. But again, you have to play your games. You have to play your games. Struthers and Salem, the winner of that game is going to get Poland. I don't know if Struthers or Salem has the wherewithal and the talent to beat Poland. Struthers already tried once and was unsuccessful. Who knows? Who knows? I think that the odds would be against Struthers or Salem, but stranger things have happened. Girard has a home game against Woodridge. If they win that game, they're going to be taking on the top seed, Canal Fulton Northwest. Again, if Girard is on their game, it's a tough team. I don't know if they can beat Northwest, but that is a tough team. That is in D4. D5. Cardinal Mooney, we made mention. Mooney is going to be hosting Conneaut. Very winnable game for Cardinal Mooney. If they win that game, they get a date with Garrettsville Garfield. This is a good Garrettsville Garfield team. Have they played the same caliber type of schedule as Cardinal Mooney? Absolutely not. And that could very well work in Mooney's favor. But it would be a physical game. It would be an extremely physical game because Garrettsville Garfield is an extremely physical team. So let's say that Mooney wins that game. Out of the frying pan into the fire, taking on another very physical team in Crestview. And again, you would be on the road. I could see where Mooney makes a trip to the quarterfinals, but to get past both Garrettsville Garfield and Crestview, that's a tall order. That's tall, and I understand it's Mooney. I get it, and Mooney's schedule. I get that as well. Let's not short side the competition. Let's not short side the competition here. Garrettsville Garfield and Crestview are two very good teams in D5 Region 17. They are both really good. And truth be told, if those two teams match up in the quarterfinals, that would be a hell of a game. Likewise, if Crestview were to play Mooney, that would be a hell of a game. But both Garfield and Crestview, solid, very solid football teams. The champion's already been eliminated, so really no other teams to speak of. Columbian is playing Western Reserve. Unfortunately for those two teams, the winner of that game gets the top seed Springfield. Now, listen, Western Reserve might have had the blueprint to beat Springfield when they played each other the first time, and I believe that game was in Berlin Center. They had a blueprint. I mean, they played keep away with that Springfield offense, and they kept Brungard and the boys off the field for much of that game. Now, unfortunately, the blueprint was not perfected because, again, it's one thing to dominate the time of possession. In a 32-minute game, actually a 48-minute game, my mistake. In a 48-minute game, if you hang on to the ball for 34, 35 minutes at a time, okay, you're doing a really good job, but you've got to score touchdowns. You can't just walk away going deep into their end and not getting any points. You have to score points while having tremendous advantage in terms of time possession. But you got to cap off those long drives with a touchdown. Field goals aren't going to be all that great because Springfield's going to score touchdowns. That's just in their DNA. They're going to score some points. And the only way that you're going to be able to beat Springfield is to keep that offense off the field. And again, long sustaining drives resulting in points. Western Reserve got half of it right, at least in the first half. And then the game got away from them because they couldn't have the long sustaining drives in the second half. If you have a long sustaining drive, 6, 7, 8 minutes off the clock, and you score some points against Springfield, okay, you've now accomplished something twofold. Number one, you scored points against Springfield. Number two, you scored points while having that high-powered offense off the field for the majority of one full quarter. Now you've done your job. Now you have a fresh defense, and you go up against Brungard and the boys, and you have a lead, and you have a fresh defense. You have a shot. I don't know if Columbiana or Western Reserve can hang with Springfield in the round of 16. The game plan is most definitely there. Executing that game plan, that's the million-dollar question. Can anyone execute that kind of game plan against the Springfield Tigers? If you can, you'll win the game. If not, here's your consolation prize, and be gone with you. You got LeBray playing Cardinal. If LeBray happens to win that game, they get the winner of Oberlin and Brookfield. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Look, LeBray played Brookfield earlier in the year. They got smoked. They'd love to have an opportunity, a second opportunity with Brookfield. No two ways about that. I'll tell you the team that I am really going to be interested in seeing, and that is Mineral Ridge. Mineral Ridge has looked really good in the last couple of weeks. They're going to be hosting Wellington on Saturday night. If they win that ball game, then they're going to be stepping up in weight class significantly to the tune of playing the number 3 seed Creston Norway in the round of 16. Again, Mineral Ridge is the 14 seed in this tournament. This is not a 14 seed. This team is a lot better than a 14 seed. It would not surprise me if Mineral Ridge continues to improve and play the caliber of football that they have played this year. It would not surprise me if Mineral Ridge got the job done and went into the quarterfinals. Would not surprise me in any way, shape, or form. Just wouldn't. Newton Falls will be at St. Thomas Aquinas. Yeah, that's probably not going to be a good trip. Not going to be a good trip for Newton Falls, unfortunately. Hopefully I'm wrong. I'd love to see Newton Falls shock the world. Friday night, Division 7, Valley Christian is at Lowellville. The winner of that game is going to get Kennedy. Okay, can Lowellville or Valley Christian play with Kennedy? Both of them would have to play a turnover-free game. You would have to be on point in terms of long sustaining drives. You've got to have discipline. You've got to be able to play fundamentally sound football. I don't know if either one of these teams could hang with Kennedy. I guess we'll find out. The rest of the teams, Wellsville is going to be playing Buckeye Central. Buckeye Central is going to be traveling about, $1.25, 125 miles up north to Wellsville. I think Wellsville can win this game, and if they do, they get to correct a wrong. They get to right a wrong from earlier in the year. Wellsville played Leetonia down in their place, and they looked good for about a quarter and a half, and then Leetonia stepped on the gas, and that was the end of that. I think Wellsville would love another opportunity, especially if Marco is not 100%. And look, he didn't play against United. And truth be told, I heard whispers that there was a really good chance earlier in the week that he wasn't going to play. And we didn't get word of that until late Friday afternoon that he wouldn't be playing. Leetonia needs this bye week. Make no two ways about this. They need this bye week in the worst way possible. This is a banged up team, not just Marco Ferri. This is a banged up football team. And there's only 30 kids out for football, and you can only do so much with that amount of kids or that few amount of kids on a football team. So they needed this bye week. And fortunately, they got it. Look, if Leetonia can beat Wellsville, they would play the winner of Jackson, Milton, and McDonald in the round of 16, which would give the area, whether Wellsville won, whether Leetonia won. If Wellsville beats Buckeye Central, we have a guaranteed team, local team, in the regional semifinals in D7 Region 25. We will be guaranteed a local team in the semifinals of D7 Region 25. So there you go. I will take a time. I'll be back with more. It is a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
trusted our families to help you with your Medicare needs.
Myers Family Insurance looks forward to helping you now for years to come, so call our family today and remind them how cute we are.
Myers Family Insurance continues to be the area's resource for all your Medicare and retirement needs. Call today, 330-286-3044.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, Sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions, reminding you that it is open enrollment for Medicare.
Now through December 7th, those who qualify can visit our local independent agency by calling us at 330-953-3722 or visiting us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Attention all football fans. If you can't see your team play, come and dine with us and watch it live at Boardman, Canfield, or Cortland. Or staying at home, we'll deliver right to your door. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
2020 will be a season like we've never seen before, but 21 Sports and YSN will be there for every key moment. The plays, the players, and the stories that will headline this season. Delivered by 21 Sports and YSN.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plans still meet your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
You may find yourself in some difficulty this winter. Don't get whacked by high heating bills. Call Michael at MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Michael is a trusted friend who will be able to help you with many things, like getting a 95% high-efficiency furnace this winter from Rude. Michael relies on Rude, so should you. Call MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate, 330-259-0486, and take care of your heating and air situation.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Power Hour coming up in a bit as the boys, well, who knows what they're going to be talking about. What is it, National something or other day? DJ has all those national whatever days. That's good stuff. Apparently the Indians had their State of the Indians press conference today, and Chris Antonetti, an interesting quote from him. We're in a worse financial position today than we were 8 months ago. According to Antonetti, the team lost tens of millions of dollars revenue. Tens of millions in revenue. The financial losses due to the pandemic are, in Antonetti's words, staggering. I said this when the season ended. And I'll drive the point home again. You can expect the Indians to be a much different team when we get the band back together again in February in Goodyear. I don't expect Carlos Santana to be back because I don't believe the Indians will pick up his option. I don't expect Brad Hand to be back. Again, I don't expect the Indians to pick up his option. I don't expect Cesar Hernandez to be back. He signed a 1-year deal, and I think that I think his contract was 1 year, $6.5 million this past year. I think he's going to get paid. I don't think he's going to get paid a lot in terms of baseball relevance. I think he might get 10, but the Indians won't be in on his services. I don't think the Indians are going to have Lindor, obviously. The idea of signing Lindor with a team that just lost tens of millions of dollars in revenue, not going to happen. They're going to probably trade him away. So just off the top of my head, the Indians will need to replace 3/4 of their infield, their first baseman, their second baseman, and their shortstop. They're going to have to replace a closer. And there's a pretty good chance that they're not going to pick up the option on Cookie Carrasco's contract. Now, between these 4 guys alone, it's $50 million. $50 million saved between these 4 guys. How deep do you want the cuts to go? Do you get the option on Cookie Carrasco, knowing full well that this Indians pitching staff? Well, let's see. You traded away Bauer, you traded away Kluber, you traded away Clevenger. What do you got left? You got Bieber left. You got Savali. You got Plesac. You got McKenzie. You pretty much need Cookie. You pretty much need Cookie. There's your starting rotation. Plutko. Sorry about your luck. You probably pitch long relief if you're even on this team. You probably need Cookie. This team is going to look a whole lot different. It is going to look a whole lot different. And if you didn't think so before the State of the Indians end of the year press conference, the quote from Chris Antonetti again, financial losses due to the pandemic, quote, staggering. The Indians were in worse financial position today than we were 8 months ago. Tens of millions of dollars lost in revenue. That's code for we're about to save money. That's code for you can expect a number of people to be vacating Cleveland. Again, I expect Lindor to be traded this winter. I don't think the Indians are going to re-sign or pick up the option on Santana or Brad Hand, and they're going to let Cesar Hernandez walk. What does that mean? You could put Ramirez back to second base and Nolan Jones becomes the everyday third baseman. Then you get yourself a bridge to whoever the shortstop is that's going to step up and take Lindor's place in 2022. You've got plenty of opportunities and people to replace Santana at first base. You've got Naylor. You've got Bobby Bradley. There are some people that can step up and play first base. But this team is going to be a whole lot different, a ton different in 2021. So if you didn't know that going into the press conference, after listening to Antonetti say that they lost tens of millions in revenue, yeah, they're going to be cutting salary. Make no two ways about that. All right, Power Hour's coming up next. Have a great rest of the day. We will talk tomorrow. Brian Driscoll, Brian Tolnar, John Vargo, and cast of thousands. Anthony will be here as well, Anthony Hardwig, and we'll have some fun tomorrow. Noon to 3, Wednesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Power Hour's coming